Hello and welcome to the NASCAR Brawl Cup Series Live tonight for race number 9 of the season here from Talladega Superspeedway. It'll be an exciting race tonight. Lots of bump drafting, beating and banging, and drivers trying to make it into the playoffs with only a couple races remaining, being this race and next week's race. It is coming down to the wire for some of these drivers, and we're going to see how they do here tonight if they can race their way in to a victory. Let's take a look at our point standings coming into tonight's race as you take a look at these guys practicing their bump drafting out there on the racetrack. Let's pull up the top 20 here. You can get a feel for who is in and who is out at the moment, and it is very close around that cut line. We do have the race winners up towards the front of the standings. Also Joshua Abbey, who finds himself right above the cut line, but locked in with the win regardless. But he has missed a couple races here and is falling back at the points just a bit, but still inside the top 16 even with the missed races. So good races by him so far. But Jeff Pogel, your points leader, Seth Hatchell close behind him. No victories, but locked in on points, and he is looking to change that here tonight. And interesting, those two are the fastest on the speed charts right now as well. Jeff Pogel being fastest, with Hatchell second fastest. And that's how they come in here in points as well. You see AJ Stravato right there in third. He is closing into that point, the regular season championship point battle with his 5 victories here in the opening 8 races. He's going to try and add to that total here tonight. Josiah Vincent with his strong runs, he's 4th, Ryan Gemmel in 5th. But outside the cut line, you can see all the way back there, Lane Sulfridge. He's only 3 points behind Dallas Sullivan. And right above Dallas, there's a few drivers just within about 10 or 15 points, even up to about 10th in the standings with Timothy Emanuele. So it's going to be close for a lot of these guys who want to make it in. Definitely going to have to try and earn some points here and see if they can come out in front of everybody else. Let's take a look at the drivers outside the top 20. Starting with Dennis Steele, you see he's only 8 points back, and really it's anybody's opportunity to race their way in all the way back to around 30th in points. That gap, just about 38 points, and if they don't get a good finish here tonight, they're basically eliminated on points, but they can win and race their way in that way. So we'll see what these guys can do who find themselves deep in the point standings. I know some drivers like Nick Starling have had some solid runs, but have not been able to get the finishes. He's going to be looking to make up that 14-point margin here tonight. But the drivers are headed out onto the track for qualifying. Let's take a look at Seth Hatchell, who's out on the speedway right now. See what he does here on his qualifying attempt and where he finds himself on the starting grid. We bring the ticker up for you guys. Let's take a look at the weather tonight. Not going to play a huge role, but 111 degree track temp will mean the tires wear, and it could get a little slippery as tires do wear out. Notice that Seth is rocking that huge rear spoiler, which is what these new Cup Car packages are like at the Super Speedway. Lower horsepower engine and really high downforce. He should be pretty stable as he runs the outside line here on lap number 1. But that hot track temp once again could make for some interesting corner entries, especially as the tires start to wear out. And we take a look at the track information as well. Talladega Superspeedway, one of the most well-known superspeedways in the world, the largest on the NASCAR circuit, and largest oval at 2.66 miles, just a little bit longer than Daytona, and it is a bit wider as well. Located in Talladega, Alabama. Tonight's race is going to be 200 miles, right around 75 laps in tonight's event. So it should be a fun one, not too long, and we'll see if these guys can knock it out. Lap time is going to be somewhere in the high 47s, 48s, I think. Maybe even shorter than that if we get the draft rocking pretty quickly, as Jason Perkins currently the fastest on the board with the 51.6. And it is going to be quite a bit slower for these drivers out here on their solo flyer laps. But when they get in the draft, they do pick up quite a few miles an hour. As right now, Hatchell working down the back straightaway, he's running about 188, 189 as he dives off into turn number 3 there. But they will be hitting right around 200, if not slightly higher than that, maybe 205, probably the max here tonight. So it should be pretty fun to watch these guys dive in there nose to tail and try and survive. We also want to give a big shout out to tonight's sponsor. That is Carey's Lawn Service. You can type the command in chat. We'll actually put it in there for you guys. Check them out. They are located in Layton, Utah. If you are located in that area and need some lawn care services, check these guys out. It's Carey's Lawn Service. We don't have a website for these guys, but we can get you their phone number if you're interested. So send us a message, let us know, and we can get that right over to you. But check those guys out. Really thankful for them to sponsor the event tonight. So shout out to them if they are watching. I know Justin Carey, a family member of that organization, he is here tonight. He's in the field. He comes across the start-finish line. He runs a 51.21. That'll put him 10th in on the starting grid. And Justin looking to solidify himself a little bit farther up in the top 16 as he comes in here 13th in the standings. We'll see how he can improve that position headed into the final regular season race next week. Let's take a look at anyone else out here. Dan Dill is on the speedway, putting down his flyer lap, trying to improve from a 51.824 as he comes through the tri-oval now. We'll see what he can do. Across the line, a 51.183. That'll be good for 7th. So actually a 181. That'll be good for 7th. He beats out Seth Hatchell and Jeff Pogo. Jordan Scheffler out here just completing his 2nd lap. And he continues to run a few more to get a little bit more practice in and figure out how the handling is on that race car. Jordan Brockle coming across here on his flyer, trying to improve from a... Well, actually, this may be his... Coming to his first lap. Let's take a look. 51.85. That looks like it's probably the first lap. That will have him 17th out of 20 as he tries to improve here on lap number 2. Safe Ferris is your current pole sitter. And we're going to cut to commercial break as these guys go to the drivers' meeting here in just a few moments. And we will be right back with the starting grid.
Introducing the Brawl Network. The Brawl Network brings your favorite team's news and opinions in an unfiltered, educated, and entertaining way. Enough of the mainstream media's bias, filtered, reiterative news. Our reporters are fans of the teams they cover, as opposed to most major reporters. While some may feel it is good to get unbiased takes, it results in negative bias, passionless articles, and boring podcasts and radio. The Brawl Network changes the game by reporting the same news as the mainstream media, but with passion, in-depth knowledge of the teams, and in an entertaining way. We use our connections to bring you behind-the-scenes information and perspectives daily. Brawl is a way of life here. For our listeners and contributors, we hear all opinions, voices, ideas, thoughts, and hot takes. The Brawl Network is where your voice is heard, and you can hear your voice. Also check out NASCAR Brawl, the newest Brawl podcast focusing on all the newest NASCAR and motorsports news from across the industry. We're proud to bring you the NASCAR Brawl Cup Series sponsored by this podcast and partnered with V-Speed. Watch weekly on Wednesdays at 8:25 p.m. Eastern Time right here on Twitch at VSpeedSyn. Check out the Brawl Network at thebrawlnetwork.com and on Twitter at Network Brawl, and the NASCAR Brawl podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify with new episodes coming soon.
I'm Jonathan Proper, CEO of Drops.com, and I'm here to give you the naked truth about laundry. Size does not matter when it comes to laundry. Let's start with jugs. It's big all right, messy too, and expensive. You know why? Lots of plastic, lots of water, shipped all over the country, from factory to warehouse to retailer. That's what you're paying for. It's a dinosaur, and we all know dinosaurs are extinct. Meet our imitators. This is your average detergent pod. It has 20 plus chemicals with names nobody can pronounce. Nice colors. I hope they don't stain. I know color doesn't clean. Would you take a bath in either of these? No way. That's why we developed Drops. Drops is dye-free, MPE-free, phosphate-free, animal cruelty-free. So free, it's freaking awesome. We make Drops with only 6 safe ingredients, certified by the EPA. Drops is tough on dirt, but gentle enough for a baby's skin. It's so gentle, I'm taking a bath in it. Doing laundry with Drops is hard to up. 1 drop equals 1 load. Now, can we talk about my package? 100% recyclable. Manufacturing Drops ourselves and distributing directly helps us cut out the middleman and reduce transportation costs. With delivery plans as low as $4 a month, the average family can save $100 a year. Hello? What are you saying? The cleanest clothes at the lowest price? You're damn right it's a great deal. Thanks for calling. Shipping is always free. You choose the product and plan that's right for you, and we'll drop Drops at your door. The naked truth is that Drops makes laundry better and life easier. Every Drops counts, saving money, plastic, water, and time. So go to Drops.com. The first one's on us.
And just 20 seconds remaining in the qualifying session here before these guys head to the starting grid, but it is how it sits right now. Safe Ferris will be your pole sitter. The number 44 machine spreading the bright green color tonight instead of the standard white that he's got on there. Very vibrant looking car, and he has put that car on the pole. Let's take a look at the rest of our starting grid. Starting on the pole, it is Safe Ferris in the 44 machine, rolling off and trying to get his first win of the season. We'll see if he can do it here at Talladega. Nick Starling, the number 32, looking for some points to climb up in the top 16. He's going to roll off on the front row as well. And rolling off in row number 2, it's going to be Ryan Gemmel, who ran very strong in the Daytona race and looking for his second victory of the season. Thomas Brendel going to be rolling off in the 4th position. On the 3rd row, it'll be Joshua Abbey, who winner from Daytona. We'll see if he can capture another super speedway win here tonight as he rolls off from that top 5 position. Dallas Sullivan going to be rolling off in 6th position. Alan Dice going to be starting at 7th. Dan Dill going to be rolling off in the 8th spot. Seth Hatchell, 2nd place in points, looking for his first win, going to be rolling off next to the points leader Jeff Pogo in the 10th position. Dylan Teal going to be starting in 11th spot. Eric Lambert going to be rolling off in 12th here tonight. And we've got J Park 093 cheering on Eric Lambert right here from the get-go. So we've got fans in chat. We'll see if he can do something here tonight. Jordan Shepler going to be rolling off in 13th. Justin Carey, whose namesake is on the race here tonight, he's going to be rolling off in the 14th position. Jason Perkins going to be starting in 15th. Jordan Brockle going to be starting in the 16th spot here tonight. Chris Wheeler rolling off in 17th. Brett Sommers going to be starting in the 18th position. Joey Mines starting in 19th, and Dennis Steele rounds out the top 20. In 21st, it's AJ Stravato looking for another victory. It would be his 6th if he can capture it here tonight. Eric Hutton looking for his first. He's rolling off in 22nd. Josiah Vincent starting in 23rd, right alongside Jeremiah Vincent in the 24th position. We'll see if we can get a good view of Jeremiah's car racing for his wife's grandmother who passed away recently, and we'll see if he can take those Angel Wings to victory lane here tonight as he rolls off in that 24th position. 25th going to be Michael Newman in the 12 car. Zach Smith going to be starting off in 26th. 27th going to be Lane Sulfridge. 28th will be Timothy Emanuele. 29th Lyle Sulfridge. Rounding out the top 30, it's Eric Holly. And that's going to do it for our field here tonight. 30 drivers. And we'll see how it all ends up in the end. Only 75 laps in this race. and very excited for this one. These super speedway races are always interesting, and this is one of the larger fields we've had in a few weeks. So we'll see how these guys go about it and who comes out on top. Will we have a new winner here tonight? We'll find out in about an hour and a half. But up at the front, Safe Ferris with another pole. And let's see if we can get back to his car. Actually, it looks like he might be rolling off from the pits. The Safe not going to be starting on the front row. I think that's going to be Nicholas Starling. Potentially your new pole sitter, due to Safe starting from the pit lane. And that is a strategy that's often employed here to try and avoid the big one that can happen early in these races, is everybody trying to get settled out in line. But pace car makes the hard left onto the apron, gonna head to pit lane here, and Nick Starling's gonna be the leader on this start. Race number 9 of the NASCAR Brawl Cup Series about to get underway from Talladega Superspeedway. Cheer on your favorite drivers in chat. Let us know you're out there. Let us know you're rooting for someone in the field, and we'll follow along. Green flag in the air. We're underway from Talladega for race number 9. Only 2 races to go in the regular season. Nick Starling jumps out in front. And he's got Ryan Gemmel in the V-Speed Camaro right there behind him. On the outside, Thomas Brendel doing his best to stay in front of that second lane. But there goes Dallas Sullivan looking to the outside. They're going to go 3 wide already. The 6 cars shuffled out with no help. But Brendel going to jump up there and give some assistance. Down low in front is Nick Starling and Ryan Gemmel. And behind them, the Week 1 winner from Daytona, Joshua Abbey, in the mix. That 5 car sporting a new Jimmy Johnson throwback scheme, but the sponsors, Primetime Sports Talk, one of the sponsors from earlier this season. See if you can take that car to victory lane. On the outside, it is Dan Dill, followed by Jeff Pogo. We'll see if these guys can work their way to the front, but Nick Starling, your leader as of the moment. And we'll bring up the ticker so you can follow along with your favorite drivers. We've got Slow-Mo cheering on Dallas and Allen. We've got Hobby Farmer 8 cheering on Seth Hatchell. And Hatchell 8 as well cheering on Seth. Soda KBB cheering on Eric Lambert, and Eric up here in the top 10 right now in that 10th position. The 3 car down on the bottom. He's got Jordan Scheffler behind him, and looks like about the top 11 have broken away. Thomas Brendel, who started up at the front, he leads the second group, but almost a second pack forming here, utilizing that higher lane. Up in front, Dan Dill able to lead that lap. He's right on the outside of Nick Starling as they go side by side, 3 rows deep, with others trying to get in the mix. You can see Seth Hatchell leaving a little gap up to Joshua Abbey, and I think that is intentional, as Seth usually pretty cautious on these races, and it often works out for him. He makes it to the end with little to no damage. And we'll see what he can do here tonight, looking for that first victory of the season, as he is up there in the points battle, but no wins yet. Dylan Teal up here in the 9th position, trying to mix things up as Jordan Scheffler goes to the outside. He's going to pull a draft from Jason Perkins, as well as Jeff Pogo and Dan Dill. And that draft definitely worked, and you can see the pull down the back straightaway here as he gets alongside, now up into the battle for the 7th position with Alan Dice down on the low side. And no contest there. That inside line dropped back a little bit, and Jordan Scheffler up there now a 4-car pack in the outside lane. They work their way out of turn number 4 to complete lap number 4. Everybody minding their P's and Q's. We've got a lot of cars in the low line and just some stragglers up high other than the front 4. And I think that's going to be kind of a trend here. Nobody really going to risk the opportunity to keep the car clean and run down low and until later in this event. And we did see a caution-free race last week. Thank you, Charlie Bear Vincent, for the follow. Appreciate you tuning in and hope you enjoyed the broadcast. As I was saying, we did have a caution-free race last week at Chicagoland, and very unexpected was that, but definitely a welcome sight as those guys ran completely clean from the green to the checkered, and as usual, it was AJ Stravato taking the victories. We're 3 wide for the lead. Gemmel took it to the middle, and it is not going to work out for him just yet as Nick Starling's still down low, and then Dan Dill, Jeff Pogo up on the high line. They're going to come down to the middle and give some assistance to the 16 machine, but Ryan going from second in the bottom lane. There goes Nick Starling to the apron. He's going to drop to the back here along with Alan Dice. Got to be careful how they file back in, though. You got a lot of cars coming up behind. For the follow, Mellow Baseball 10. Appreciate you guys tuning in. And on the point of following, as we go 3 wide up here in the lead pack, if you guys are following here and want to follow us over on our Twitter as well, we're going to be doing a giveaway when we get to 500 here and 200 when we get to that on Twitter. So we're not too far on Twitter. We are a little farther here on Twitch, but tell your friends, tell your family, have them come out and watch the races and give us a follow. We would really appreciate it. And we'll be doing that giveaway, so check us out on Twitter as well if you want to be eligible for that. Right now, it's all Jeff Pogo at the front. The points leader has found his way up here after starting in the 10th position. Pogo out in front with Dan Dill, his teammate right there behind him. And then Joshua Abbey in the mix, a Week 1 winner from Daytona, trying to get up here and potentially lead some laps and earn some bonus points in that way. But it looks like Bullring Racing, that is Dan Dill, Eric Holly, Jeff Pogo, 2 of those drivers up here already showing the way. And Eric Holly, he's up there in the outside lane, leading that group as Timothy Emanuele trying to figure out where he wants to go. He'll go to the outside alongside Joshua Abbey and try and charge towards the front. Side by side they go into turns 3 and 4, and still Pogo and Dill at the front. We've got some drivers starting to drop back here. It looks like the B-Speed Camaros of Seth Hatchell and Ryan Gemmel here in 9th and 10th position, electing to be a bit more conservative on the opening laps. Ryan was up there in the mix, went 3 wide, and maybe didn't like what he saw, and now he drops back away from the lead pack. Seth Hatchell a little farther back, leading Eric Lambert, Thomas Brendel, Dylan Teal, and others. As Brett Sommers jumps to the outside, he's going to try and take advantage of Alan Dice. Or maybe it's vice versa. Looks like Dice is going to get the run on him. Try and make that pass for 14th as they go into 3 and 4. Looks like he'll complete it. And only 2 cars left on the outside lane now. That is Eric Holly. And trying to see who that is behind him. That's the 49 of Jason Perkins. And now they drop into the low line. So everyone among the top 16 or so, even farther back, all single file running the low line. The driver looking for a good finish tonight. It's going to be Dallas Sullivan. We'll see if he can get one here. He's running 16th right now. Started up in the 6th spot, and this has been a trend for Dallas. He's qualified extremely well over the last few weeks, and just cannot seem to get the finishes that he needs to get out of, out of a weekend with some solid points. And I believe he's up there in the top 16. I'll have to do a little bit more digging on that, but looking for some points here to see if he can secure himself up there in the top 16 without any threat of falling out next week. Right there behind him, Jordan Scheffler, another driver looking for some points here. I believe he's well out of the points battle, but could find a win here tonight, which could lock him in. And Jordan missed a few races early in the season, but come back pretty strong here over the last couple weeks. I believe a couple top 10s, that number 13 car. At the front, it is Jeff Pogo, started 10th. He's leading the way. Timothy Emanuele starting a charge up on the outside with Dennis Steele as they make their way through the tri-oval. Pogo continues to show the way, but the 39 now alongside Dan Dill. That's the battle for second. That battle heating up. Now we've got 2 wide, about 3 rows deep there behind your leader. Eric Holly also in the mix. He's a straggler back there in the, looks like 8th position right now behind this lead group. As the top 7 fight it out side by side. Ryan Gimmel also right there behind him. He has not dropped back to the pack behind him. Seth Hatchell still quite a few car lengths behind. As Hatchell now under attack from Brett Sommers and the 78 of Dylan Teal. Both Sommers and Teal basically needing a win to advance into the playoffs at this point. We'll see if they can get up there and contend for it, but still so early in this event. And we've got an engine blown. That's the number 5 of Joshua Abbey, week 1 winner. Dropping to the apron, I believe. Oh, maybe not. That might be somebody else. I'm trying to find out who it is. Let's go back here. I think that's Dan Dill just blew a motor going down the back straightaway. Let's take a look at this. He was giving a big push to Jeff Pogo up there. Was obviously not watching the water temps, and he blows the engine. Joshua Abbey gets into him in the 81. You can see trying to find a way to the apron to get out of everyone's way, and that was close. Could have ended up in a much larger incident, but Dan Dill, he's going to have to head to the pits after leading 3 laps early on in this race, and that could be catastrophic for his playoff chances as he works that car around the apron and towards the pit lane. He may just take it to the garage here. We'll have to find out. But Jeff Pogo continues to lead, and he's got to know that the driver behind him can't stay there forever. So he had a teammate committed to pushing him, and it definitely cost that driver the 81. And I'm just pulling up the points here just to see where everybody came into tonight's race. I want to see how secure Dan Dill was. He came in the 12th position in points. 13th seed in the playoffs. Only 16 above the cut line, so this is a huge opportunity for some of those drivers below the cut line to get up there and get inside the top 16, as it looks like Dan probably going to drop out of it here. Depending on how the other drivers perform in tonight's race. But at the front, Timothy Emanuele now charging to the lead, using that high lane with Dennis Steele right there behind him. And 28 trying to get some air to the front end of that race car. They've been pushing nose to tail for quite a while. It's so unfortunate for Dan Dill as he sits on the pit lane. It looks like they are performing repairs on that race car, but it will be almost the entirety of this race before he gets back out on track to complete even a handful of laps. Looks like we have some shuffling for position going on back here. The 12 car, Michael Newman up on the outside with Joey Mines. Those drivers trying to find their way towards the front. And great looking race car there in the number 12. As Stravato, AJ Stravato back here with Eric Hutton. These two also playing it pretty conservative, just 16 laps in the 20th and 21st positions. But so often we see these two up in the mix at the end. Hutton with a couple chances to win races earlier this season. one at Iowa and then one at New Hampshire just a couple weeks ago. Neither of those races panning out exactly how he had hoped, and AJ Stravato actually took home the victory in both of them, as he has done so many times this season. And at the front, we've got another contender here, Chris Wheeler, the 22 car. He's trying to find a way to lead some laps. And Wheeler comes into tonight's race on the outside looking in. He is in the 26th position in points, currently about 28 points below the cut line. And looks like they're catching up to Safe Ferris, who is showing 10 laps down. Looks like Safe maybe with some issues at, in terms of connection at the start of this. He got out on the track very late, and 10 laps down going to be impossible to overcome, but he will run out here nonetheless, as he has done all season. That is the attitude to have. Jeff Pogo showing the way. That car very strong in the opening laps of this race, and nearly 20 laps into it, he has led over half of them, and the 22 of Chris Wheeler trying to find a way to get that car out in front and try and lead some laps. He's got Eric Holly right behind him. Looks like we might have had some contact, and I believe caution is out on the speedway. The 39 of Emanuele involved. That car is upside down. Oh my goodness, let's go see what happened. Timothy here. Taking a look at Timothy Emanuele here. That 39 car, the Petronas Mercedes Ford Mustang. He gets loose in the tri-oval, gets into Zach Smith. They go flying through the air, both of them. And they both end up on their lid. So unfortunate. I'm not sure who else was caught up in that. Looks like Dennis Steele in the 28. Also heavy contact. Let's see if we can get another view of this from the overhead cam. The 39 just getting loose in that tri-oval. That flings the 28 down to the infield here. Instantly destroying all three of those race cars. I think that was it. Oh my goodness, Jason Perkins. Let's see how he got through there, if he did. I am going to go on to the nose cam with Jason here. Let's take a look at what happened. See that 39 car just gets loose. He starts drifting down the track. They all make contact, and how the seas parted for Jason Perkins, we will never know. But that is exactly what happened. And the 57 of Alan Dice, very lucky that a little net code happened there. That car remains undamaged as well, but huge, huge wreck for those drivers, and that's going to send a few cars out of this race. Alan Dice, along with the rest of the field, pulling in. See Thomas Brendel very hot into the box there. I think he pulled in to his already. Yep, stops perfectly there. There's a few drivers already making their way off the pit lane. Eric Holly, I don't know if he even stopped. Does not look like he actually stopped in the box. A few drivers staying out among the field. Jordan Shepler, Jeremiah Vincent, Justin Carey staying out as well. Jordan Brockle and Joey Mines in the 20 car. Joey with a little bit of left front damage here. I'm not sure what happened, if he was involved in that one, but what a wreck to open us up here. And somebody should clip that. That is that is absolutely wild. I don't know if I've ever seen two cars go flying through the air in sync like that. Let's go take a look again at that one. I want to see what happens there. All right, and trying to see where things went wrong for Timothy here as we fast forward to the front straightaway. He was up there racing for the lead, and then the next time around, that car absolutely goes flying through the air. He just lost it in the middle of the tri-oval and takes out a few other drivers. Some drivers lucky there. Dallas Sullivan was right in front of it, and Dylan Teal right behind it. But to see two cars in sync like that, almost like synchronized swimming, that is absolutely incredible. And both drivers able to walk away under their own power, and they are going to have some soreness later tonight, that is for sure, but at least they were able to get out of it, and thankfully it is a simulator. AJ Stravato, the Torpedo, currently riding in 24th. He had an extended stay on the pit lane, 55.9 seconds. Not sure if he maybe stepped away or had some damage on that race car. It looks like it's pretty clean, but he remains on the lead lap in the 14th position now as other drivers coming back down for additional service. And it looks like pace car lights are off, so we're going to be going green this next time by. And just a quick recap, we've already had 8 lead changes here in the first 20 laps, with 1 caution taking out 3 drivers in Timothy Emanuele, Zach Smith, and Dennis Steele. Dennis only 1 lap down. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to continue on. That car, I don't think he blew the engine, but it was right on the edge of doing so. But exciting wreck to open us up here. And perhaps a subject of the next NASCAR Ball podcast. Make sure to check those guys out. Link is now in the chat. They are the sponsor for the series. That's the NASCAR Brawl podcast, available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Go check them out if you love some awesome racing news as part of your day. They've got interviews with some pretty high-profile drivers and racing personnel, so check them out. Give them a like, give them a follow, and also check out the Brawl Network, which is a network of podcasts featuring very passionate content creators for each team in many professional sports. So check them out. See if there's a Brawl podcast for your favorite team over on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. As we're about ready to get back underway, it's Jeff Pogo in the 24 machine, going to lead the field back to green with Brett Sommers on his outside. And everyone in the field did take a pit stop, so those drivers that had stayed out did come back down the pit lane. Jeff Pogo resumes the lead, and we are back green as he leads Jason Perkins, who just narrowly escapes disaster. He's already up here in the 2nd spot. I think he might have seen the light just briefly there. His light flashed before his eyes, and he said, you know, maybe I want to be at the front where that can't happen, as he's up here now pushing the leader, and only 1 car to get past is Eric Lambert now charging back on the outside, giving a push to Brett Sommers. That 7 machine trying to lead some laps here and gain some very valuable bonus points. The V-Speed machines there in 5th and 6th. That's Ryan Gemmel, Seth Hatchell side by side. Looks like Hatchell going to leave a space open for his teammate. And Safe Ferris up here in the mix. He may be 10 laps down, but he's going to continue to push and try. We know that 44 car, one of the most aggressive. He's about to get a spot back here from Dan Dill. And we'll see how many more he can gain before the night is through, but it's probably going to be around a 25th position finish, unless we have quite a few more cars wreck out. But at the front, Brett Sommers and Eric Lambert, a huge push. And Safe Ferris trying to get his lap back, one of his laps back the hard way by racing up here in the mix. And I think he'll continue to do this until it gets late in the race. You might see him drop out of contention at that point. And Sir Eric Lambert having a good run here in the first third of this event. We haven't seen Eric up at the front too much this season, but He was having a pretty solid race at Daytona, I believe, until late in the event, where he might have been collected in something there, and we'll see if he can weather the storm here tonight, see if he can capture a victory, which would bump him instantly into the playoffs. Right now, he is well on the outside, looking in, currently in the 27th position in points, around 29 points back, so not impossible to overcome with a couple solid performances, but he's going to have to really pick it up here at this point in the season. He wants to make it in on points. But Brett Somers out in front as he races it up with the lap car of Safe Ferris, the 44, trying to get his lap back the hard way. Still 10 laps off the mark, and he'll drop back down behind the 7. As Dylan Teal now into the 2nd position. He's going to give a push to the 7 of Somers. Now look to the outside, down the back straightaway. Nothing doing there. And the 7 continues to show the way. As they make their way into 3 and 4. Jeff Pogo, who restarted as the leader here, he's back out of it, it looks like. And he is all the way back to 7th position here with the V-Speed machines behind him. Those 3 drivers remaining pretty calm right now. Hatchell right here as well. Chris Wheeler, who we saw up towards the front, he's in the 11th position as both he and Hatchell get passed up by Joey Mines. And Nick Starling up there on the outside. In the back, he continues to ride around back here outside the top 15 after starting up at the front. Nick did lead 2 laps. Those bonus points very crucial for him. He's only 14 points outside the cut line after quite a few rough nights this season. So we've got Jordan Scheffler off the pace. He is up here going a lap down now. Not sure how he lost the draft, but he just pitted 1 lap ago. I'm not sure if he's got some kind of crazy strategy he's trying to pull here, but ended up leading a lap during the pit cycle. And now back here in the 25th position. Only car 1 lap down, so he is in the lucky dog position, but never good to be a lap down at these super speedways. You really want to be on that lead lap to have any shot at it. And we'll see if we can get a word in with Eric if we get a caution here. But while these guys are racing under green, we definitely don't want to break into their radio communications. As Eric Holley nearly caught the wall there going through 3 and 4, he lets quite a few drivers pass. Joshua Abbey, who has some nose damage, he's up here in 7th, and he's got to be careful that that car won't overheat, especially when he's behind other drivers. That's some pretty heavy nose damage this early in the race. We'll see what he can do to sustain that vehicle through the rest of the event. And we'll definitely get a word in with Eric, like I said, during the caution, but at the moment we can't break in there. But the 44 is Safe Ferris. He's up here racing it up like he's leading the pack, but in all reality, he is actually 29th, 9 laps down, but the car is clean as can be. He just missed the start of the race, so Safe trying to recover here as much as possible, and he's going to get another spot back on Timothy Emanuele, this time by. Yep, he just gets it right there. He'll move up to 28th position, and he'll grab a couple more from Zach Smith and Dennis Steele next time by. Both of those drivers still on the pit lane. Dennis Steele, that car heavily damaged. He was able to bring it back, though. So he's about a lap ahead of Zach Smith and Timothy Emanuele. Taking a look back here, Dallas Sullivan, we saw him start up in the top 10. He is back here basically just helping out the 13 of Jordan Scheffler. These two almost on an island by themselves. Starting to fall back from Nick Starling and Jordan Brockle. And yep, no Brandon Vasquez up here, so probably going to be out of contention in terms of points to get in the playoffs. So he'll have to get a victory next week. We'll see if Batman can have some luck out there. Next week is going to be Charlotte. That should be pretty interesting. 200-mile event. At Charlotte should be a lot of fun. And we are 3 wide up here at the very front. Safe Ferris 9 laps down. He's in the middle. Brett Sommers and Lambert going for the top spot. Jason Perkins right there behind him. Joey Mines drifts up the track a little bit, almost makes contact with the 78 of Dylan Teal. And Jeff Pogo starting to get up in the mix once again, but right now it's Eric Lambert leading the way. And one of the more recent pit stops in that number 3 car, but Joshua Abbey actually leads that lap. You know, I thought that the 5 had blown up when it was actually the 81, but Joshua did get quite a bit of nose damage from that. Still able to keep speed in the race car and come across the line that last time and lead the lap. But Lambert now with the big charge down low. He's got a huge push from Perkins and Joey Mines, and that's going to put the 3 and the 49 clear out in front of the 44. And with Safe up here in the mix, he could either help or hurt someone trying to make their way in on points. We'll see what he can do, but not going to be a great points night for the 44 machine. He does find himself up in 26, so he is not going to finish last here, and definitely still opportunity to gain more as this race goes on. But we are approaching halfway, just a few laps. And it's anybody's race at this point, but the top 6 or 7 still fighting it out. Everybody else single file behind them, nose to tail on the inside line, and pretty conservative racing here among this field tonight. We still have 23 drivers out of the 30 that started on the lead lap. 24th to 25th, Jordan Shepler and Eric Holly both hitting fairly recently. They go 1 lap down, and then everybody else at least 10 laps down, with Safe Ferris being the only one of those on track right now. As Lambert fighting it out with Jason Perkins. I think Perkins going to get him at the line there. Nope, it was Lambert leading that lap, but so close at the line. And they continue to duke it out side by side for the lead coming out of turn number 2. And then Joey Mines down there. He looks to the inside of the 3 of Lambert, tucks back in line, and going to give the 3 a push here. Is the 44 using the same strategy. He's going to give the 49 a push, trying to get out in front. So lots of action, just the one caution in tonight's event, but it was a big one. 3 drivers taken out in extreme fashion, flying through the air, losing the front ends of their race cars, and 2 drivers ending up on their lids. And you're going to want to go back and check that highlight out, and hopefully someone has clipped it here. But right now the battle for the front is Jason Perkins and Eric Lambert. Both of these drivers outside the cut line. Perkins comes in here, he is 31st in points, and Lambert 27th. So these guys collecting bonus points, which can be very useful headed into next week if they don't capture a win here tonight. As we go 3 wide once again, Safe Ferris goes to the outside of Perkins. Here comes Joey Mines to the back bumper of Perkins. That's going to give Lambert a bit of a run with the 5 car of Joshua Abbey down low. The 5 gets on the apron though, and that's going to allow the 49 to get the run. So Perkins your leader, as Joey Mines almost took it 3 wide there between the 49 and the 3. He's going to be hung out to dry with the 44 of Safe Ferris. They go side by side once again, but Perkins now the leader on the low line as they are catching up to the back bumper of Eric Holly. Holly 1 lap down, in danger of going 2 laps down, and that is not what you want to happen. He did not pit at the right time or extended stay. Actually is what cost him nearly 20 seconds on the pit lane. He lost the draft when he re-entered the track, and he is in danger. He's going to go to the high side, and they're going to blow right on past him. Holly running 180 miles an hour up there by himself, and then the leader's running 192, 193 And another slow car up there. And that is Timothy Emanuele, who has miraculously made it back out on track just 16 minutes after that car went flying through the air. And I think he's going to have trouble making minimum speed around here, so they may bring it back in and attempt some more repairs. But Emanuele back on track, trying to get some more laps under his belt and gain a couple more spots if possible. Oh, Joey Mines, big wiggle there in the tri-oval. He saves it. And that could be an issue if these tires start to wear out. Now 20 laps into the run. And there's Dennis Steele also back on the racetrack. Both those drivers back on the speedway, about 16 minutes on pit road. And Dennis back in 28th. That car a bit quicker though. He's running about 25 miles an hour faster than Emanuele's top speed. So I think Dennis can be able to make up a couple laps on the 39 and get back up there in front of him. But right now, side by side among the top 6, that's actually the top 5, as Safe Ferris 10 laps down. Eric Holly going 2 laps down, and still 23 drivers on the lead lap. And anybody back here has a shot at it as we cross the halfway mark. Who do you think is going to win here tonight? Vote in chat, let us know. Do you think it's going to be one of the drivers that's already won this season, like AJ Stravato or Ryan Gemmel, or another driver who's already won a race? Or is it going to be a new driver who's been knocking on the door, like Eric Hutton or Seth Hatchell? Could it be one of those drivers taking home the victory here and locking themselves in with those playoff points in hand? Or could it be someone like Thomas Brendel, who is really an outsider on in terms of points? He really has very little chance to make it in. And right now he leads the field in front of Jason Perkins, Eric Lambert on the high side. And we've got T.E. Brendel cheering on the Cheeto machine as he gets passed up for the lead. The 3 of Lambert going to drop down in front, and that will give that lead back to Lambert as they make another lap around Timothy Emanuele, well off the pace. And mostly single file, just a handful of cars up high, being led by the lap machine of Safe Ferris. Brett Sommers up there, he's got a good night going so far. He has led 5 laps, I think some of the most laps he's led this season in a race. He's led here tonight. Dylan Teal right there behind him. He's got a little bit of a wiggle going through that set of corners, and we'll see if Dylan is struggling with the handling in that race car. Eric Holly right there behind him. He is 2 laps off the pace, so we've got a weird mix of lap cars as Sommers looks up high. Not going to make it work. He'll stick to the back bumper of the 44, and he'll hold on to the lead right now as Eric Lambert down there is actually behind him. The 44 car multiple laps down. But Lambert charging back. It's going to be Sommers at the line as they complete lap number 40, and I think pit stops should be starting here the next 5 to 10 laps, and that should send them to the end of this race. 22 laps into this run for most drivers, some with more. Like Joshua Abbey, he's got 25 laps on this stint. See that second group starting to pick up now. Eric Holly trying to find a way back around and get a lap back the hard way, but not going to get close enough to the 78 of Teal that time by. And they are starting to separate, starting to get down to the inside now is Michael Newman. And I wonder if they're going to start coming to the pit lane here pretty quickly. A lot of drivers filtering down. And it will cycle out in a very interesting way for the drivers who have already pitted. Like Eric Holly and Jordan Scheffler. Scheffler's still up here in the lead pack, but he's at the very tail end of it behind Dallas Sullivan. And I think Jordan, just a short 2-tire pit stop He's going to start to feel those tires when they get to around the time that the leaders start pitting here. And Hollimer cheering on the 14 machine of Brendel, thinking he's going to win tonight's race. But at the front, he is now back to the 5th position. Eric Lambert, Brett Sommers fighting for it as we are 3 wide. Jason Perkins also in the mix in the middle there. And nose to tail in the high line. Sommers leads another lap with a big push from Dylan Teal. They head up into turn number 1 in that high groove. Safe Ferris in the middle. He's working it down there, trying to get back out in front of these guys. And there's another car up in front of them. That is the 28 of Dennis Steele. Making his way around here about 167 miles an hour right now, so well off the pace of the leaders, around 200. Timothy Emanuele has brought it back to the pit lane, so maybe had the engine expire once again on that race car. We'll have to see if he makes his way back out on track. But at the front, Safe Ferris leading the middle lane. Eric Lambert down low. Brett Sommers up high, completing lap number 43. There's Dennis Steele. They make their way around. Still 3 wide right there for second now as Lambert pokes out in front, using the low line to his advantage. That shorter route has worked so far so good for anybody who's been in the front of this pack. Jason Perkins able to make it work on the outside. He actually drops down in front, getting the pole from the 44 car. And when do they start coming to pit lane? It'll be about 30 laps to go next time by. And I'm not sure what the range is. Currently they're at 26 laps on this stint. Joshua Abbey with 29 laps on the stint, but multiple of those being caution laps. But will he run out of fuel here anytime soon? Especially with all that added drag from the damage on the nose. And he's on the outside racing all by himself. That's going to hurt him and hurt his fuel efficiency. If you're in the draft, you've got a pretty good shot at saving some fuel. But if you're out there by yourself, like Safe Ferris or some of the other leaders we've seen, definitely hurting that efficiency because you're pushing all the air out of the way. Let's go on board with Chris Wheeler here as these guys making their way around single file. Not a whole lot to look at. See how Chris is doing in his race car. Hear the lift there down the back straightaway. Didn't want to get too close to the 25 there in front of him, or the 5 and the 25 rather. Leaves a nice little gap there in case anything was to break out. And oh, here comes the 48, working the high line, trying to break into the top 10. He's getting a push from the Sulfridges. That's Lyle Sulfridge and Eric Hutton actually. And then we see Lane Sulfridge also working up there in the high line. He's got Josiah Vincent, Jeremiah Vincent. We know all of those guys, good friends. They work the upper groove. Stravato, we've seen so many times this season. He comes to the front at the very end and closes these things out. He has dominated a couple races, but that's not been the traditional way of winning in that 48 car this season. It's been he's had the speed in every race, but often finds his way to the front in those last couple laps. And we do have pit stops starting here. Brett Sommers bringing it down. See if we can find him here. And he leads Michael Newman, Joey Mines. And that is going to be it. Just 3 cars coming down this time. Oh, he almost hits the wall. He does hit it, trying to get it corrected into the box correctly. That is going to be disastrous. He's going to lose a ton of time trying to get that car in the pit lane, as there goes Michael Newman already a 2-tire pit stop. 8.5 seconds. He's back on his way here. Looks like Joey Mine's still in his box. He might have had a speeding penalty. He has not pulled out of the box yet. Still in his stall. Over 30 seconds now. And Jordan Shepler going to bypass him and move up to 23rd. And there you see Brett Sommers, a 12.4 second stop, but he was on pit lane nearly 10 seconds longer than Michael Newman. And that is going to cost him a lot here. He probably will not catch the draft at the tail end of this pack, so Brett going to have to hope for something to happen quickly here. And he'll be in the running with Jordan Shepler for the lucky dog at the moment, as we have other drivers on pit lane. I don't believe so. Looks like the 12 of Newman out here all by himself, so that's going to be a problem. He's going to lose a lot of time, about 2 to 3 seconds a lap at this rate. And the leaders staying on the racetrack. Jeff Pogo at the front now. He's right on the back bumper of Eric Holly, who's multiple laps down. How did Pogo get back up here? He was, I think he was like 8th or 9th. When we cut away to those guys coming down the pit lane, he's back up here in between the lap cars. Jason Perkins second. He's got a car in between himself and the leader, as you can see. The slow car of Dennis Steele up in front. And then a few lap cars a bit farther up the road. And when do these guys come to the pit lane? Is it going to be this time? Is it going to be next time? Or are they going to wait even longer? It does not look like anyone bringing it in this time around. So it'll be 25 to go when they get to the start-finish line. And we know they can make it, as they've just gone about 32 laps. On the 48 of Servato, he's up here in the mix now in 3rd position, goes to the outside of Safe Ferris. He's got a push from Lyle Sulfridge and Eric Hutton. And he's going to try and use these lap cars as an advantage rather than using their draft. He's going to try and get around them and box in the 24 of Pogo right now. That's where that 24 car sits. Nowhere to really go. He could go up and get in front of the 44. Is now the 5 of Abbey. Dives off in a handful of others. Looks like Joshua Abbey leads these guys down. That's going to be Chris Wheeler, Jason Perkins, and also Dylan Teal. So 4 cars bringing it on this time. That leaves 16 on the racetrack, led by Jeff Pogo and AJ Stravato, who are now nose to tail, 1st and 2nd. 6 race wins among the top 2, with 5 of those going to the 48 this season. And they're up here in the mix now in the closing laps of this race. 1 more pit stop remaining for these guys. We'll see if they elect to work together or how this is going to cycle out. Pogo going to bring it in here with Eric Holly. Looks like another driver. That's Eric Lambert going to bring it in. As Lambert trying to lock it down, he does get it slowed up. But close call there. You see the tire marks behind him as he was getting it slowed down, and they will work their way onto the pit lane. 14 cars now left yet to pit. Dallas Sullivan, the last of them. And we've got other cars trying to merge back in. That is Dylan Teal and the group from the previous time around. Jason Perkins trying to get back up in line. These guys all going 1 lap down. Jordan Shepler, a big wiggle there as they head into turn 3. And Lyle Sulfridge going to take over the top spot right now. And they make their way around Joshua Abbey, who just came off the pit lane as well. And let's take a look at the pit times. Joshua Abbey, 12.8 seconds, so potentially a 4-tire pit stop on that race car, and that could be the difference between winning and losing this race. The 2 and 4 tire strategy. Looks like a few others on pit lane. That is Alan Dice, who's got a backup. Dallas Sullivan nicely in his box. Thomas Brendel in his box. And Nick Starling, Safe Ferris also in their boxes. this is playing out as we kind of expected. Looks like Jordan Brockle, the last of the drivers to have to pit. He's going to come in this time with Justin Carey. Looks like Seth Hatchell, Ryan Gemmel, and just about everybody else. Actually, everyone else does come down onto the pit lane. And can't mess up your stop here. This could really cost you. Looks like Stravato has to back up. Stravato missed his box just a bit. And it's not going to cost him too much. We'll see what the tire strategy looks like. As the 84 Brockle had a bad time trying to get in his box. He had to back up a couple times. And he may miss the train as these guys get going. He is yet to leave the box. Ryan Gemmel going to come out second behind Eric Hutton. So Hutton, your leader, as the rest of the field led by Jeff Pogo, starting to make their way through the tri-oval. And they're going to come back around and most likely take over the lead of this race. As they pass up Lane Sulfridge, Justin Carey, and others. Working their way onto the back straightaway. There is AJ Stravato trying to get back up to speed. And the 24 with a full head of steam behind them. He's going to go right to the back bumper, now to the outside. And Jeff Pogo try and move up into 6th here, and with a big push from his teammate there in the 25 machine, Eric Holly, who's off the lead lap. 2 laps down, actually, so not what he wanted to see. But at the front, it is Eric Hutton and Ryan Gemmel, a couple drivers we have not seen up here. And 20 laps to go now. It is anybody's ball game. And it's still green, Jake Park. It's been green the whole time. Great run by these guys. Just green flag pit stops there. I can't really jump in with them as they're in the middle of all that. Eric Hutton leads the field. Ryan Gemmel there in second. And Josiah Vincent in third. A lot of these drivers taking 4 tires. Eric Lambert, the first on 2. And he is in the 8th position down there on the low line. Michael Newman up there with them as well. He took 2 tires. He's in the 9th position, but a few lap cars around him. Actually, Nick Starling on the lead lap in 10th as the track falls under some shade here. Ryan Gemmel to the point. He'll go around the outside of Eric Hutton and bring Jeremiah Vincent and AJ Stravato with him. 16 trying to get up there to the block, but not in time. There goes Jeremiah Vincent. He's got the special scheme. Fighting for his wife's grandma here, trying to get the victory. He said it earlier, he's going to be racing his heart out to try and get the win here tonight. And Jeremiah missed last week because of that. And what a story it would be to come back here and win at Talladega. He currently sits on the outside of the points standings, or the top 16 rather, in 19th, just 5 points out. But a win would lock him in and surely catapults him in points regardless, as Jeff Pogo works on the outside. He's got Eric Holly, like we said, 2 laps down in that 25 car. He's up in the mix. He's going to give a push to his teammate, see what he can do here. Pogo, your points leader, he's led some laps, was dominant early in this race and kind of lost the control of the field. But now back up here with these guys fighting it out. Not many laps left. If you are enjoying the race, please consider following or subscribing. You can also check us out on all of these different social media outlets, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, where we post race announcements before each and every broadcast. And we are going to be doing that giveaway we mentioned when we get to 500 followers here on Twitch, when we get to 200 followers on Twitter. So follow us on both of those platforms to be eligible. Oh, and we get a caution at the front of the field. It's going to take a lot of the contenders out. That was Pogo going around. He gets turned off the nose, and Seth Hatchell involved late in this. Car is still trying to filter through. And who did that collect? I am not entirely sure how it even started. other than Jeff Pogo got hooked off the nose of his teammate. And let's take a look here. See the 24 car in the outside lane. He's got the 25 of Holly. Just gets him in the corner of the bumper and hooks that car. Oh, and the 3 of Lambert involved. Lots of other drivers. I see the 20 of Joey Mines goes spinning. Seth Hatchell goes spinning. Let's take a look here. Let's get a larger view. That is not the view we want. See the 3, the 77 of Hutton gets collected. Big damage on that car. It looks like the 4 able to squeeze through. That is Josiah Vincent. He was far enough behind. Oh, and Hatchell, big impact a couple times there. That's going to take him out of contention and won't get that first win today. As he went sliding to avoid the 25, the 77 bounces off the wall, and then he also hits the 24. So Hatchell collecting serious damage here, one of your top contenders in points, along with the points leader in Jeff Pogo. Let's take a look again at Jeff. That car, big damage. I think Stravato was able to get through with minimal damage. He did get a little in the right rear, but shouldn't hurt that. And Jeremiah Vincent protected through all that. As he was your leader, he was able to squeeze on past, no issues at all. And he will bring it to the pit lane. Looks like Ryan Gemmel going to remain on the racetrack. And that will trap the 44 another lap down. And the 14 of Brendel, he's going to go around and be your lucky dog. And lucky break for him. He will be back on the lead lap. And we'll have to see how those drivers involved, how long they stay on pit lane. Looks like Hatchell just getting into his box. I think that car could have some rear end or rear axle damage. Let's see how it was driving down the track. Yep, he has some significant rear axle damage. Crab walking all the way, so. And then Eric Lambert, I think. Let's see if he did drive it back. He's got that left front damage. I think he'll be able to continue, but all of these drivers sitting on the pit lane getting damage repaired under these long pace laps. And see if we can get a word in here with Eric real quick. I know the request of the fans. Let's see if we can pull him up here. Eric Lambert, this is Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy. Oh, Eric Lambert, this is Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy.
I sure do. What's up, man?
Well, Eric, some of your fans in chat here wanted us to see if we could get an interview with you. Looks like you're rolling off the pit lane now. Got caught up in that last incident just a little bit. Is the car going to be okay to continue? You think you can still manage a solid finish out of this?
It looks like I'm a little bit down on horsepower. I should be all right if I could stick with the draft. I don't think I'll be leading this back to the finish line, though. I was gambling. I was running pretty hard today, harder than I normally do. Car felt really good, but it just... I told myself I didn't want to be in that high side, and I put myself there anyway.
Yeah, and it can be so hard to know when that big one's going to happen, and that one was a wreck between teammates, it looked like, at the very front. And when something happens among the leaders, it can be difficult to miss. But you're among the drivers that got some of the less significant damage, I would say. You did lead 7 laps so far in this race, so how has it felt for you so far? And without a win tonight, you think you're going to be able to get a good finish next week to climb in on points?
I highly doubt that. I mean, I've kind of dug my own grave this season, but the number 3 Simulators Anonymous Chevrolet has felt great all day, and it's just a shame that it ended like that. I pitted with them guys. I figured that they were going to keep their P's and Q's, but it happens. It's Dega.
Yes, sir. But keep your head up. We'll see if you can get a few more spots out of it here. I know there's a lot of cars with a lot of damage, so you're not out of it yet, and there's still quite a few laps to go. So good luck in the remaining bit here, and maybe we'll even talk to you at the end.
All right, thank you, and thank you for putting on the broadcast, guys.
All right, and that was Eric Lambert. Unfortunate circumstance there. He gets caught up in it, but did get a chance to talk to him finally. Unfortunately, not the circumstances I think he'd want us to talk to him. But at the front, we've got a few drivers that stayed out. Looks like the top 7 all stayed on the racetrack. Everybody behind them bringing it in to top off on fuel and get some damage repaired. And at the front, Josiah Vincent and Ryan Gemmel showing the way here for this restart. And lots of emotes there from Jay Park. I'm sorry it didn't work out for Eric tonight, but glad we did get a chance to talk to him at least. And what can Gemmel do here? We've seen Ryan run very strongly the last few weeks. He did capture the victory at Michigan, which almost races like a super speedway, and he was very competitive at Daytona, getting caught up in a race-ending incident there. The green flag back in the air, going to be under 15 laps to go to the end of this race. And once again, this race sponsored by Carey's Lawn Service. You can check them out with the link in chat, or get some more information about them in the comment in chat. Located in Layton, Utah. If you are in that area and you need some lawn care, check those guys out. Carey's Lawn Service, and we can get you a phone number if you're interested in their services. So send us a message, or send a message in chat, and we will hook you up with those guys. And want to thank them for sponsoring tonight's event as well. Once again, as Ryan Gemmel shows the way, Nick Starling up in the mix. Nick started on the front row, actually took over the pole when Safe Ferris missed the start of the race, and now he's back up here in the mix. Dallas Sullivan also coming back up through the pack. He's in 3rd after running outside the top 20 for a good portion of this race. He's back up here when it counts, and can he make it count with a victory potentially? As Lyle Sulfridge on the outside, he's got Jeremiah Vincent, Lane Sulfridge, as well as Alan Dice and others, and that second groove looking fairly organized. Can they make something happen? And Seth Hatchell still on the pit lane getting damage repaired. It's been almost 6 minutes. He is now 3 laps down. We'll be going 4 laps down this time by. Thank you, Police 5861, for the follow. Appreciate you tuning in. And at the front, Gemmel still showing the way with Starling behind him, but that second groove starting to form. Who is that? That is the number 9 of Jeremiah Vincent. A big push from AJ Stravato. Going to get him to the lead of that second groove, and can he make it work? The 32 of Starling, a huge push down the back straightaway to the 16 of Gemmel, but that second groove really closing in now. The battle for the lead is on. Jeremiah Vincent, who was leading at the time of that caution, he's charged back up here. And what a story it would be to make his return tonight after missing last week. He would have a family tragedy with his wife's grandmother passing. He's racing for her tonight. Said he's got his heart in this race, and he's got the car out in front now, leading the way with AJ Stravato, a good friend behind him, and the Sulfridges as well. Those guys all working well together and trying to get that 9 car or one of them to victory lane. And can that happen? Just 10 laps to go. Ryan Gemmel trying to deny that. Well, not necessarily deny that element of it, but he wants a victory to himself. And the 32 of Nick Starling right there as well. He's looking for a win. He's trying to collect a lot of points and absolutely in position to do so. Nick could catapult himself into the top 16 if he finishes right around where he's running, or even better. And out in front, though, it is the 9 of Jeremiah Vincent, and Ryan Gemmel still fighting back on the inside. 32 of Starling, he's got to be careful of the engine temperatures. We've seen Dan Dill blow an engine. Down the back straightaway they go, side by side for the lead, about side by side for the top 10 or 15 spots. Lane Sulfridge got shuffled out there. He drops back to the 14th position, trying to find his spot in line. And Gemmel still keeping the nose out in front. The 9 car charging back on the outside through the tri-oval. Side by side. Jeremiah Vincent leads that lap, I believe. Nope, it was Gemmel just barely edging out the 9 car. And this is going to get pretty intense here. Just a few laps to go. Everybody side by side. Does anybody farther back try and make a move or a charge to head towards the front? Hatchell finally exiting pit road. He's going to go another lap down, those 7 laps down. 8 minutes on pit road for him. And Jeff Pogo actually out of this race completely. So Hatchell, he can gain a couple more spots. He might end up with the points lead. But actually, it's probably going to end up being AJ Stravato up here leading those guys in the top 3 in points. Just a few laps remaining. It's Gemmel versus Vincent at the front of the pack, and Nick Starling, AJ Stravato trying to push their lane out in front and hope for a shot at Corey as well. And who is going to do it? Who's going to take the win here tonight? It's going to be 6 to go next time by, as they are all still nose to tail among the top 20. It looks like Brett Somers peeking to the outside. He's got Dylan Teal. They're going to try and maybe make that third groove work. He's still looking up there. And there goes the 71 of Lane Sulfridge. He peaked up high. That sent Joshua Abbey up high. Here comes Chris Wheeler. They all settle back out too wide. So no third groove working just yet. Maybe it's a lap or two too soon, but somebody's going to have to start making a move here with 5 to go next time by. There goes Wheeler to the outside. The 22 car, he's going to try and get up there and make it work. Brett Somers right there behind him. He's going to try and help out. Both of these guys have been towards the front at some point in this race. They're going to see if they can race back up there with the laps winding down. But Gemmel showing the way. Jeremiah Vincent still fighting back on the outside, not able to get that car into clean air. And the 48 still doing everything he can to push that 9 out in front. But now the bottom, really big run from Nick Starling and Ryan Gemmel. The 70 gets a bit squirrely out of turn 2. And they're all trying to line up the bumpers. It can be very difficult to do so. We've already seen a case of bumper hooking cost the leaders. But at the front, Gemmel and Starling, and then Vincent and Stravato still nose to tail. It'll be 4 to go next time. And Jeremiah Vincent charging back towards the front here. He leads that lap. But the 16 takes it right back out of turn number 2. Anybody doing anything farther back? They are starting to go 3 wide now. That is Lane Sulfridge, Chris Wheeler, and Joshua Abbey. We saw Joshua Abbey charge to the front at Daytona and seal the deal there, but looks like he's going to lose some of his help, and he'll drop a little bit farther back without those guys behind him. And looks like 71 just kind of tricked him there to take a spot away. Joshua Abbey going to drop to the tail end of this pack now. That really cost the 5 car. As at the front still, nose to nose, 3 laps to go. It's the 9 of Vincent and the 16 of Gemmel. The 32 of Starling, the 48 of Stravato, and then Dallas Sullivan also in the mix. The 49 of Jason Perkins, 70 of Lyle Solfridge, the 12 of Michael Newman. Lots of drivers up here fighting for this. Some of them knowing it's their best chance to make it in the playoffs. And Gemmel, who's already won this season, he doesn't need the win, but who doesn't want another trophy on their shelf? Gemmel, a big fan of these races. We know how good he is based on the performance at Michigan as well as Daytona earlier this season. But Jeremiah Vincent racing for more than just the win on track. He's racing for his grandmother, or his wife's grandmother, in her memory, with the special paint scheme tonight, getting a big push from his friends and family behind him. So what could be better than winning in front of those guys? As coming into turn number 3, he has the car out in front, and the 16 of Gemmel charges back underneath though, and it'll be 1 to go as they come back around through 3 and 4. They're trying to get the run on the outside. They've lost a bit of ground now. Can they get it back here? Coming to the last lap in the tri-oval. White flag gonna fly here. And white flag in the air. We're coming back around no matter what. There's not gonna be any extended overtime finishes. There goes Jeremiah Vincent to the inside. AJ Stravato up high. Does he just block that line? Are they trying to get the 9 to win? Will the 48 try and win it? As Jeremiah Vincent, he gets a huge push. Gemmel jumps outside now. The 48 right behind him. 3 wide, 4 wide. Now we've got Nick Starling on the apron. He goes to the inside. Jeremiah Vincent in there. Gemmel up high. They're banging doors. It's 3 wide. The 9 car in the middle. Coming out of turn number 4. It's 4 wide. Nick Starling's taking over the top spot. There is Dallas Sullivan. Jeremiah Vincent falling back. Nick Starling charging forward. They're going to wreck. They're flying through the air. Nick Starling at the front. He's going to win it. Nick Starling wins the Carey's Lawn Service 200 at Talladega. What a crazy finish. Let's go back and take a look. Cars flying through the air. Josiah Vincent comes home second. Jason Perkins comes home in third. We saw the 48 of Stravato. He got turned there at the end. Among all of that. And it looks like it might have started with Dallas Sullivan, who ended up getting the worst of that. I think he actually... That car flying through the air, he actually almost ended up outside of the racetrack. But Gemmel involved in this. Stravato involved. Joshua Abbey involved. And lots of other drivers. I mean, Lyle Solfridge, who finished 10th, he was even heavily involved in that. Safe Ferris, Michael Newman, Alan Dice, almost the entire field. But Nick Starling came across the line. No worries in his mind as that finish happened. Nick Starling started on the front row. He actually was your provisional pole sitter because of Safe Ferris not making the start of this race. He comes out on top with the victory. What a crazy finish as he burns it down here on the front stretch. Nick Starling gonna lock himself in with the victory, and he's headed to the playoffs. We knew he was charging hard, and he closes it out here at Dega. What a crazy finish. I don't even really know what to say after such a huge crash other than very unfortunate for Jeremiah Vincent, who looked like he might have had that thing won down the back straightaway, but all the juking and jiving and a crazy wreck there in the tri-oval. Nick Starling comes out on top. We're going to cut to commercial break. We'll be right back with the top 3 interviews, so don't go anywhere.
Introducing the Brawl Network. The Brawl Network brings your favorite team's news and opinions in an unfiltered, educated, and entertaining way. Enough of the mainstream media's bias, filtered, reiterative news. Our reporters are fans of the teams they cover, as opposed to most major reporters. While some may feel it is good to get unbiased takes, it results in negative bias, passionless articles, and boring podcasts and radio. The Brawl Network changes the game by reporting the same news as the mainstream media, but with passion, in-depth knowledge of the teams, and in an entertaining way. We use our connections to bring you behind-the-scenes information and perspectives daily. Brawl is a way of life here. For our listeners and contributors, we hear all opinions, voices, ideas, thoughts, and hot takes. The Brawl Network is where your voice is heard, and you can hear your voice. Also check out NASCAR Brawl, the newest Brawl podcast focusing on all the newest NASCAR and motorsports news from across the industry. We're proud to bring you the NASCAR Brawl Cup Series sponsored by this podcast and partnered with V-Speed. Watch weekly on Wednesdays at 8:25 p.m. Eastern Time right here on Twitch at VSpeedSyn. Check out the Brawl Network at thebrawlnetwork.com and on Twitter at Network Brawl, and the NASCAR Brawl podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify with new episodes coming soon.
There you see Dale Earnhardt, the defending champion, a man who has won here at this racetrack. He has been absolutely second to none in 1987.
Dale Earnhardt is on his last lap. This will be his 24th career win, his fourth win of 1987 out of 6. Dale Earnhardt wins the first Union 400 at North Wilkesboro.
Everyone's wondering what can stop Dale Earnhardt. He's on a roll, 4 wins and 6 starts. I mean, is there anybody can handle you?
There may be a little more here underneath the sheet metal.
Well, I'm sure this afternoon we'll know a lot more, and we've got 500 miles to run. We'll see what happens.
Good luck today.
A magnificent 19th annual $500,000 Talladega 500 is won by Watsonville, Georgia's Bill Elliott, and the siren is beginning to ring. You'll probably hear it in Dahlonega. Bill Elliott has won. Davey Allison second.
Elliott now getting a challenge from Tim Richmond, but he closes again right in behind Earnhardt, coming down off turn 4. And Earnhardt loses it, goes on the grass, comes back, and Elliott goes inside. And Earnhardt still got the lead. Incredible. Decent driving by Earnhardt. 7 laps to go. Earnhardt went on the grass.
Dale Earnhardt is reminding Mr. Elliott, you make one mess up like that, and I might get through.
When you come to North Wilkesboro on a short racetrack, you expect some fender to fender and even some paint trading going on out there. We've seen it already as Brett Bodine gave Jerry Cranmer a nudge in the rear end, and now we're seeing some great competition out there between Dale Earnhardt and Bill Elliott.
And we are back, going to be pulling up our race winner here tonight, winning in a crazy fashion. Nick Starling, this is Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, what's up?
Well, Nick, I don't know how you did it exactly, but you come out of here, you lock yourself into the playoffs in a crazy finish. I think you were in 3rd or 4th when we came out of turn 2, and somehow you got to the inside by turn 3. How did you get it done here tonight?
Yeah, it was actually probably that last restart, we had probably 10 laps to go, and it was so frustrating because I was behind the 16 and I was trying my best to get us, at least to have nobody in that middle lane above us. But my engine was actually overheating that entire run, so I couldn't push them the way I wanted to. And I couldn't communicate with them, obviously, that I was overheating, so I tried to do my best to keep us tight enough. And the six behind us, he gave us a huge run off the backstretch, and the only way I didn't cause a wreck was to kind of dip below the yellow line a little bit. Once I realized I was below the yellow line, I kind of backed up even more. I was trying to give the 9 the position back because I definitely don't want to win like that. And then sure enough, I know I give him the position back. I kind of get behind him. He gives me a little room to get back on the track after I gave him the position back, and it's like all hell broke loose behind me, and we drove off to the checkered.
Yeah, it was a crazy wreck that happened behind you guys. Looked like, they just it was 3 or 4 wide. They just came together in the middle of the track, and everybody shot up the racetrack. We saw cars flying through the air, and all we see is this pink streak flying out at the front of the field with nobody around him. And you started up at the very front. You were pretty far back at some point in this race. I think close to like 20th position. And then you find your way back up to the front. I mean, what did it take during the pit cycles and the strategies to keep some track position and be there at the end?
Yeah, I think, and you look at the guys that finished up there, the VMS team, the 4, the 9, the 48, and then myself, I think the 6, especially the 6, we kind of had the same strategy as far as, running a Q lap, trying to get the pole, to get the bonus point that we needed. We're kind of both in the same situation. And basically once we got that pole, I led a lap early in the race, and then from there it was just defensive driving, trying to avoid everything, so we dropped to the back. And then once we dropped to the back, it was definitely good green pit stops. Was clean, hit the pit stall. I think just that alone gave us a bunch of positions and cycled out, and we were in the lead pack. So, and then finally it was that last restart. You just knew it was go time. Restarting 4th, and it was restarting 3rd actually, and it was just pushing. It was pushing the 16 the whole time. I enjoy a win like this too, because it's not like we kind of lucked out in that situation. We were sitting there at P3 just pushing the 16 the whole time, holding her on.
Yes, sir. Definitely a deserved win, and pretty crazy to think about it. You led 2 laps, I think basically the first 2 laps of the race, and you didn't lead another one until the last one. So really when it counts, you were there and collecting a lot of points and collecting the win, locking yourself into the playoffs. How big of a load is that off your shoulders, knowing that the regular season was wrapping up?
It's huge because I was sitting there 3rd behind the 16, and I was just kind of pretty complacent because I knew I had the lead lap bonus points. So I knew we were going to get 2nd place points, so I was very content with that. But even with a 2nd place finish, I knew we were going to be below the cutoff line, so we would have went next week, with a lot of weight on our shoulders trying to make sure we get in. But now that we can go into next week and not even worry about it is huge.
Yes, sir. And speaking of next week, we go to Charlotte. What are your thoughts on that track?
I had a lot of thoughts on it, but now it's just a bunch of relief where we'll just go out there and, just run our best, and I guess just practice for a mile and a half for the playoff. We haven't really had any strategy running in these races just because we've been trying to get every single point we could possibly get to make it up. So now that we're in the playoffs, we'll definitely, just do a little strategy and kind of practice on some things for the playoffs.
Yeah, and we'll see if you can repeat there and get a 2nd win. But you're our first new winner in quite a while, so that's definitely awesome to see. With the 48 winning so many races here, it's not often we get somebody else at the front, and it's about time your luck had turned around. So, congrats on the victory here tonight. Before we let you go celebrate, anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Carey's Lawn Service for sponsoring the race tonight. It was huge. Go check them out. It's a local business over in Utah. I'm sure you talked about it in the broadcast, but it's definitely good, small family business. And then also the NASCAR Brawl and the Brawl Network. Appreciate everything they do and keeping this league going. And also want to thank V-Speed for the awesome broadcast tonight.
Thanks, Nick. Congrats on the victory once again. Go celebrate, and we'll catch you next week at Charlotte.
Absolutely. Thanks, Adam.
All right, that was Nick Starling, your winner here tonight. surviving the melee at the end of this race and coming out on top. Let's go to second place finisher, Josiah Vincent. See what he has to say. Josiah Vincent, this is Adam, the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Yeah.
Well, Josiah, you started quite a ways back in the field tonight. You were up in the mix for most of the race, however, and especially coming to the end there, you were right up in the top 5, top 10 when everything kind of went crazy. How did you survive that wreck, and how did you get out of here with the second place tonight?
That's a pretty good question. There was definitely a lot of luck involved there. I was coming into this race, I was just trying to do what I could to help my teammates out that are around the cutoff line for the playoffs. I think for the most part, we did a pretty good job of that tonight, with the exception of Jeremiah getting wrecked there at the end. But yeah, there at the end, come to the checker, I just happened to end up behind Jeremiah there, and I had nowhere to go. I was just getting pushed from behind, as I was just doing everything I could to help push Jeremiah, try to get him to win, or at least the best finish possible. And then all chaos kind of broke loose around me there, and I just kind of skated on by for second place.
Yes, sir. And you've been so consistent over the last handful of races that, I think back to the New Hampshire race where you started, you missed the start of the race, or something happened there with your connection. You were 3 laps down. You come back and finish on the podium. And so many times that's been the case for you this season. You just somehow find a way to get these top 5s each and every week. You're up there in the mix in points, pretty secure. I think probably locked in now based on points. So, how much of a load is that off your shoulders with just the one race remaining in the regular season?
Definitely a good feeling going into the last race of the regular season, not having to worry about points or anything. Still want to try and get that win. That's something I really want to try and get. But all in all, so far, it's been a pretty good season. Can't complain too much.
Yes, sir. And you think you can capture that win next week at Charlotte? Are you feeling pretty good about that racetrack?
We'll just have to see. I'm so there. I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. Just try and take care of my car and try and race smart. And as long as I'm near the front, I think the wins might come eventually. So just got to keep trying to do what I'm doing.
Yes, sir. And you're definitely putting your car in position. You're up there every week, like we said. So I think a win is not too far in your future. Could potentially be next week, so we'll have to find out. But you come home second tonight after starting in 23rd, very close to the front for the latter half of this race, and come out of here on the podium in second. So anybody you want to give a shout out to before we let you go celebrate?
Sure. I'd like to thank Carey's Lawn Service for sponsoring our race tonight. I'd like to thank Nick and NASCAR Brawl for putting on this series. It's a lot of fun. And I'd like to thank you and V-Speed for putting on the broadcast. You guys all do a good job.
Well, thank you so much, and congrats again on second place here tonight. We'll catch you next week at Charlotte.
All right, man. Thanks.
All right, that was Josiah Vincent, the number 4 car, coming home with another strong finish here in second tonight. Third place is Jason Perkins. Probably going to be a very happy man in that race car. Jason Perkins, this is Adam, the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, Jason, you started 15th. You were up there at the front of this race for quite a bit of it. You led 8 laps here, and you survived the crazy wreck through the tri over there and come home in third. What did it take tonight to be up there in the mix at the very end and come out of here with the third place?
Just had to have a lot of patience the whole race, really. Just trying not to press anything and, just be clean with everybody and make it to the end was the biggest thing.
And that definitely paid off. We saw you kind of run up at the front for quite a while, and then did see you fade back. I think in the middle portion of this race, it looked like you were trying to, maintain some distance there. And I'm trying to find where you are in points coming into tonight's race. It looks like you are on the outside looking in, but definitely going to gain a lot here. We only have the one race left in the regular season next week at Charlotte. Do you think you can potentially grab a victory there or point your way in that race?
It's tough to say. I mean, I'm still new to the car and just trying to learn mostly at this point. Get the best finish I can out of it and bring it home without wrecking it. So I'm not really concentrating a whole lot on the points. I mean, it'd be nice, but it's not something I'm really focused on at this point.
Yeah, and you definitely performed well this season. Being new to the car, I think this is your second or third top 5 this year. So definitely had some speed, and I think this is actually the second podium finish that you've had here this season. So not a lot of drivers have been able to say that, so obviously performing very well, even getting used to the car. So we'll see if you can do some work next week at Charlotte, and maybe lock your way in with the win there, or even point your way in. But you come home second tonight after leading some laps. Anybody want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, just want to give a shout out to Carey's Lawn Care, NASCAR Brawl Cup Series, and V-Speed for putting everything on tonight. It was a lot of fun. Had a blast racing with everybody, and hope to do some good, clean racing next week.
Yes, sir. And congrats on third place. We'll catch you next week. All right, that was Jason Perkins, your third place finisher tonight. Started in 15th. He comes home in third place. Nick Starling, though, your winner, the 32 car, he finally gets it done, as he needed the points. He needed the win, really, to be secure in making the playoffs, and he did just that, closing it out on the last lap, taking the lead away from the 16 and the 9, and driving away as the cloud of fire and flames and steel behind him just got bigger and bigger. He got farther and farther away, and takes home the victory tonight. So congrats to Nick. Let's take a look at the rest of our results in tonight's race before we head on out for the night. It looks like Nick Starling coming home your winner after starting on the front row. He captures the win on the last lap with a final lap pass. 2 cautions in tonight's race, both of them very spectacular, and also that final one, a spectacular crash. But 34 lead changes, so it was very competitive at the front, and Nick Starling came out on top. Josiah Vincent comes home in second after a very good run. Jason Perkins comes home third. Jordan Brockle, a very quiet 4th place. He sneaks through that wreck to finish in the 4th spot. Michael Newman also makes it through. He finishes in 5th. Lane Sulfridge comes home 6th, I believe his best finish of the season. Thomas Brendel finishes 7th. Chris Wheeler 8th. Alan Dice finishes 9th. And Lyle Sulfridge finishes in 10th. A lot of drivers needing points. Looks like they got them here tonight. Jeremiah Vincent so close, yet so far. He comes home 11th tonight. A good run nonetheless, and something to be proud of in that number 9 car. Brett Sommers comes home 12th. 13th was Joshua Abbey. 14th, Ryan Gemmel. 15th, Justin Carey. 16th was AJ Stravato, who was up there fighting for the win in the closing laps. Eric Lambert comes home in 17th. 18th was Dallas Sullivan. 19th was Jordan Shepler, and rounding out the top 20 was Dylan Teal. 21st, it was Eric Hutton. 22nd, Seth Hatchell. 23rd, Safe Ferries. 24th, Jeff Pogo. 25th, Joey Mines. 26th, Eric Holly. 27th, Dennis Steele. 28th, Timothy Emanuele. 29th was Zach Smith. And rounding out the field tonight in 30th was Dan Dill, exiting early with a blown motor. But a ton of fun tonight. We really appreciate everyone who tuned in. We'll be back next week at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, so you're going to want to tune in for that one. Should be a lot of fun. So come back here, V-Speed Sim on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/VSpeedSim. Please consider hitting the follow button or subscribing. If you enjoyed tonight's broadcast, we really appreciate it. Also, check us out on all of the other social media outlets you see on the screen, on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, where we post race announcements before each and every broadcast. And also, you can check out race replays over on YouTube. We just posted last week's green flag race from Chicagoland, so check that out. That was a fun one for sure. You can check out that race and all the other NASCAR Brawl Cup Series races, as well as other races we've broadcast in the past. See if there's anything that you enjoy over there, and please consider subscribing to us on that platform as well. We once again appreciate everyone tuning in tonight. We're going to raid somebody else here. Let me take a look. We'll see who we can jump in with. Alright, we are going to jump in with Genticle. She is streaming GTFO with Dr. Lupo and others. And and I'm sure she will appreciate the raid. So say hello, and we will catch you guys all next week at Charlotte.